Well, a big victory for Democrats in California. Prop 50 passed last night in a landslide. Here are the latest numbers from the California Secretary of State's office. 64% of votes, people voted yes for this. 36% said no. Yes leads by more than 2 million votes. Just announced this morning, Assemblymember David Tenjipa, 18 California voters and the California Republican Party are filing a federal lawsuit challenging Prop 50. That suit is alleging the proposition unconstitutionally gerrymanders districts, which violates the 14th and 15th Amendments.
The map is designed to favor one race of California voters over others. This violates the 14th Amendment's guarantee of equal protection under the law and the right under the 15th Amendment to not have one's vote abridged on account of race.
The lawsuit alleges the maps increase the power of Latino voters. For more insight, we welcome back political analyst Brian Sobel to the 9. Brian, thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure, Andre.
So you heard what some of the folks just said there about challenging Proposition 50. Do they have a leg to stand on, in your view?
I think it's a long shot. This was an election that was decided overwhelmingly throughout California. If you looked at the map of the 58 counties and how the votes came in, clearly California wanted to enact this removal of the redistricting commission for at least 3 elections, 26, 28, and 30, bringing it back in theory in 31. So everybody, Andre, knew what was at stake here. And so that makes a lawsuit a little bit tougher to pursue, I think.
Have, these voter-approved measures been successful in being challenged in court in the past?
No, because it's a setup where everybody knows going into it what's going on. What happened last night was that the no on 50 people lost, and they lost overwhelmingly. They were outspent by the yes on 50. All of the Democrat stars from around the country came in to campaign for it. So a lawsuit after the fact like this, and I'll leave it to constitutional lawyers to argue about it, but after the fact, these things typically don't go very far.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, because we did hear this from the Trump administration talking about challenging California's mail-in ballot results. You think that is one of the ways they can get in legally to address and perhaps challenge Proposition 50?
Well, perhaps, but here's the thing. These things have to go through courts. They eventually work their way to the United States Supreme Court, and there's no guarantee, if it ever gets to the United States Supreme Court, that the Supreme Court is going to overturn an election, for example, in California, that was so well publicized. Everybody knew what was at stake. I think, and the elements of the lawsuit around racism, this is, it'll be interesting to see how this works its way through the legal system, but I think somewhere along the line it probably dies.
But I guess the question is, during this legal process that is being mounted against Proposition 50 in the state of California, is it possible to freeze it in place so that it does not take effect before the midterm elections in 2026?
Well, I think that's the goal, obviously, is to hold it off for the midterms. But what we have seen consistently is one court rules one way, one court rules the other way, and it keeps going up the line. Again, I don't know that the net effect of this will be blocking California from the redistricting any more than I think it'll block Texas.
So what does this mean now for Democrats in these districts or that want to run for these districts where Republicans currently hold a seat?
Well, I think the thing to remind viewers of is that even though the seats or the districts are being redrawn, in this case, Democrats still have to win those seats. And so that's an important point. There will be Republican challengers, in a couple of cases, Republican incumbents who are not going to give up their seats easily and are going to try to make a case to Democrats that they are doing a good job in Washington, D.C., and they can represent everybody. So it isn't a guarantee, but it surely changes the advantages and in this case, it gives advantages to Democrats in at least 5 seats in California.
Brian, what will you be watching out for as this continues to play out, as these campaigns start to crank up in time for the midterm elections? Of course, it's going to be pretty intense considering the balance of power in Congress, but what are you going to be watching for to see happen here?
Well, excellent question. I think I'm going to be looking at, and I think people in my world will be looking at a national trend, whether there is what often happens in midterms, Andre, and that is that the party that's out of office sweeps into office in the Congress. And so that is something I'll be looking for. We saw some trending last night. I don't think we can overanalyze it, but the Democrats had a really good night last night, puts a little wind in their sails, and whether they can take that and move it forward to recapturing the House of Representatives is something I'm going to be watching very carefully, and I know people in the world of political analysis are going to be watching.
Yeah, we not only have Proposition 50 here in California, but we also had those Democratic victories in other parts of the country, New York City,
Exactly.
New Jersey, and Virginia as well. It is shaping up to be an interesting midterms coming up. Political analyst Brian Sobel, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Andre. Have a great day.